Well, everybody, I just wanted to update you on my progress here. I had a tough time getting these capacitors out of the holes here. The unfortunate thing was I got the capacitors out, but the joint was still a little bit sealed up, and I ran into some problems. And so I went to my girlfriend's house because her dad is into electronics and works for Motorola, or actually used to, and so he has 40 years of experience. Anyway, found out that the iron that I bought, an ECG iron, 60 watts, was not cutting the mustard here. And as you can tell, this is a fairly old soldering iron that my girlfriend's dad let me borrow. The tip is 100% copper, and it's only 40 watts, and it seems to be doing the trick well. So the key to your soldering experience is to have a good hot iron with great heat transfer. And it looks like I have successfully put in two capacitors over here and this one here. Now, a little bit of advice here is if you do have some joints that are all filled up with solder inside, I recommend using a sewing needle pen and putting it on one side here, and as you can tell, it's not going through. And what I did was, on the other side, I used the solder to heat up the pad, and it pushed right through the hole. And once I got it through the hole, I jiggled it out and kept jiggling it so the solder would cool but not break around the hole, and jiggled it and pulled it out. So basically, if you run into those problems, I have found out that is very successful in getting the joints clear from any solder, so you can actually put the capacitors right through. So that little bit of advice, because I know a lot of you out there might run into a little bit of frustration as I did. But again, you need to have a really hot, good heat transfer on the iron, and this is really old, so it's actually doing the trick though, because it's fully copper and it's getting a really good heat transfer even when I clean off the joints with the solder braid here, the solder wick. It sucks it right up, and it helps me to get the pins in there really nice and clean it out and replace the capacitors. So anyway, I just wanted to update you on that, just in case all of you other people out there that are not very experienced in soldering like I am, what tricks might help you in trying to repair this G5 logic board. I also wanted to mention, by the way, if you do use these, make sure that you have a good amount of them, because over time when you're trying to clean out the joints, the end will pop off on you, and you'll have to use your needle nose pliers to wiggle it out of the joint. What I'm doing here is cleaning the CPU and just cleaning off the old heat sink compound. As you can see, the writing here of what's going on, just make sure it's really clean, so when you add the Arctic Silver 5 heat sink compound, you can get a good consistent layer on there, and you want to have it paper thin so that the CPU can have a good heat sink transfer for better CPU processing. So that looks pretty good. Arctic Silver 5 thermal compound, that goes right on here to give a good CPU heatsink transfer, and you can pick this up for a nominal fee, very cheap. I think I got it for like $6-7, but it'll be worth it, because you want to replace this old stuff, put the new stuff on there, so your CPU will give you very good performance. About ready to put my computer back together, but I just want to let you know it's always good practice again to put all your screws that go with that particular piece of hardware together. As you can see, these are very tiny, so I just used a little bit of Scotch tape and bundled them up and taped it back to this so I wouldn't lose them. Just a good practice. Okay, here's my finished computer. I reassembled it, put everything back in place. Everything looks good. I didn't have any leftover screws, so that's good. So I have a little bit more confidence. How you're going to know you're successful when I actually do plug it in here is there. You're going to see these 4 leads right here. If lead light 1 illuminates, then you know you have success, and you know the board is feeding or getting fed power by the working power supply. Here goes. I am grounded. Plugging it in. Success. So I do have a green lead light on, and just to let you know, if you can see this button here, this is the internal on and off switch, and when you put the cover back on, these 2 prongs here are attached to a button on the outside cover that is for the outside on and off switch. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and commence turning it on and off through the internal on and off, and hopefully I get success here. Here goes. And if I do get success, then you'll see the lead light 2 come on, and it should flicker. Here goes. Oh, that's a good sign. That's a really good sign. Okay, so I turned it off and I reassembled. I put the back on, and now as you can see it's plugged in. This is going to be the true test to see if it works by turning on the back power button, because usually sometimes it turns on the inside internal button, but the back button is what's going to help me know I'm successful. So here goes. Okay, that sounds good. Oh yeah, it's turning on.
You and your friends are in grave danger. This is a death ship. Reinhardt called it mutiny and killed Mr. McCray. Ignored the orders to return home.
What became of the crew?
They were captured. Intelligent life means nothing to Dr. Reinhardt. Without their wheels, the crew became things he could command.
That explains the funeral.
Robots, humanoid robots.
Do you mean to tell me that there's actually a human body under that clothing?
Exactly, Mr. Booth.
Isn't he just?
Okay, proof enough that this actually does work. What I'm thinking about doing is replacing all the capacitors, and to see if I can get all this pixel degradation right here at the top and all over the place to dissipate. But this is good news. At least my computer is working with the 10 capacitors I did replace. So if I can do it, you can do it. And I am a complete beginner, a complete novice. Had no idea what I was doing in the beginning, and then I sought out some help. But basically saw all these DIY videos on YouTube, and got a lot of literature to try and just fix it myself, and it looks like it's a success. So till next time, I'm gonna replace all the capacitors and see if we can fix this problem here. But it does work, and I'm very, very satisfied. So wow, it's amazing, amazing.